Hello. Hello, hello. Starting soon. I just have to, like, turn on music real quick. Make sure it's not too loud. Okay. I think we're good to go. Almost good to go. Let me just adjust this real quick. There we go. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the custom card review. Today we'll be reviewing custom cards, in which we review custom cards you send into the custom card review stream. And today's theme of custom card reviews for the custom card review stream is custom god cards. Specifically, original god cards. And more specifically, god cards which have, like, amazing effects. But no instant win conditions. Okay. There was 2 weeks for cards being sent in. Because I didn't do it last week. The reason I didn't do it last week was because the internet was down, like, half the day. And then when it was up, I was like, well, just save it for next week. Because I already had plans for the rest of the week. I forgot what they were, though. But they were, like, you know, the custom card review. I do this for basically fun. My time is better spent doing literally anything else. So, if I miss the allotted time, then that's it for the week. I'm not doing it. So, this week, I actually had a dentist appointment this morning. So I was thinking about rescheduling it again, but I already rescheduled it last week. So, I was like, well, if the dentist appointment doesn't, like, destroy my mouth, I'll be good, and I'm good to go. My mouth is perfectly fine. Screw your provider. It looks like the internet's doing great. Like, I have it on low maintenance mode and everything, too. Oh, right. Okay, so, anyways, with the custom card review, just a reminder, there's a lot of cards that get sent in. Like, a lot. So, if I don't cover your card, don't take it personally or lash out on other people's whose cards were featured, because I see that a lot. I don't know what's wrong with you people. They're custom cards, don't take this too seriously. But with that out of the way, let's get started. So, first up, we have Literal God. This one's pretty funny. So, it's a Divine Beast monster, requires 3 tributes, normal summon, cannot be normal set. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. A lot of these are going to have that. That's a pretty normal god card-like thing. Where 3 tributes for a normal summon, and that normal summon can't be negated. I hope it's SS Goku tier, maybe. I remember this one's pretty good. I was spending, like, all this morning reading through them. Let's see, and it's... Wait, when normal summon cards and effects will be activated, yeah. Once per turn, you can add up to 1 Solemn Trap card from your deck to your hand. If this card is face up on your side of the field, you can activate Solemn Trap cards from your hand. You do not pay life points or discard cards to activate counter trap cards. This card gains 1,000 attack and defense points for each trap card in both players' graveyards. No once per turn on that Solemn Search. No, there is a once per turn. It's just a soft once per turn, but for this card's summoning conditions, you're not going to be reusing that effect. Like, you don't need a hard once per turn on a card that's hard to bring out. A soft once per turn is good enough. Like, you're not bringing out multiple copies of this card. This is pretty good. This is ridiculously good. Still loses to skill drain? I mean, everything does. Like, just because a card loses to Forbidden Droplets doesn't mean it's a bad boss monster. Just think of it that way. Like, just because something can be countered doesn't mean it's bad. However, if a card can be countered too easily under certain conditions, then it might be bad. Like, you know, if you're bringing out the Winged Dragon of Ra, and all it is just a big beat stick and doesn't impact the field immediately, then it's a bad card because it's vulnerable to literally everything. This card has built-in protection in the form of the fucking Solemn Traps. You guys know what the solemn traps are? Let me give you guys a reminder. It seems you guys don't remember what the solemn cards are. This is some of the best for protection you can have. Let's see, Edo Pro. Edo Pro, here we go. So, solemn judgment. Negate anything. Solemn strike. Negate any monster effects. Solemn scolding, literally negate anything. And you can activate these from your hand? What? What? You don't have to pay life points either? It's just negate and you get to search one out every turn? Whoa. Whoa. I wait from February to review reptilian cards, but I still have no problem waiting. Reptilian cards. I should tell you, like, the days of reviewing random custom cards are over. I make no promises to review every card that's sent in. In fact, I specifically say the opposite. So just keep that in mind whenever you send them in. Just there's a good chance I could read them, but that doesn't mean I will, and I have no obligations to read any of them. Keep draw Saryuja. You know, that sounds... I only say this because I see a lot of people get really mad when I don't read their custom cards. This is why I put out these disclaimers out there. I can search Solemn. So I will say, like, if you sent in custom cards a while ago, they probably won't be read anytime soon. And if I do put out a call for generic custom cards, I'm probably just going to pick new ones that are sent in. So the best way to get those cards read, if you really want them to, is to resend them in during a new week when I call for it. Solemn Wishes Turbo. For a card named Literal God, this is very balanced and fair, right? I thought that too. It can be special summoned. Yeah, I guess it can. Moving on. Triad. This one, oh, it's a spirit monster. I didn't even notice that. So, Divine Beast, Spirit. Cards and effects cannot be activated. That's what all of them do. It's only temporary. Cannot be special summoned or set. Must be normal summoned by tributing 3 monsters. Cards cannot be activated in response to this card summon or effect activations. Or its effect activations. Whoa, so all of its effects are spell speed 4. Unaffected by other card effects. You can pay half your life points. Both players draw until they have 6 cards in their hand. Quick effect, you can take control of an opponent's monster. You can only use each effect of Triad once per turn. During the end phase, return this monster in the field to the hand. So, this thing is ridiculous. I love it. It's a spirit card. The spirit card, which requires 3 tributes, returns to the hand, is unaffected by card effects, and it has 2 effects. One of them allows you to just steal one of your opponent's cards, and the other one allows both players to draw until they have 6 in their hand. This is a good spirit monster. I'd play it. But very difficult to summon? Yeah, I didn't even think it was a spirit monster. This is an excellent god card. So it's 3 tributes to draw 6 and a monster steal. And a 4,500 attacker who's unaffected by card effects with spell speed 4 effects. That's pretty good. And the take control of your opponent's card is permanent. You can cheat it out with the Shino Bird, dude. Isn't the Shino Birds level 4 or lower spirit monsters? I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they are. Otherwise, you could cheat out some of the really big spirit monsters who are actually good. Next card, Kraken, Dirge of the Mariners. This is a divine beast, divine type, with 4,000 attack and defense. This one requires 3 tributes, normal summon, cannot be set. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summon, cards and effects cannot be activated. Pretty standard god card stuff. When this card is summoned, special summon as many tentacle tokens as possible. Sea Serpent, Water, level 8, 2,500 attack and defense. Tentacle tokens are unaffected by the effects of monsters with a level that has an original level lower than theirs. Tentacle tokens cannot be attributed or used as materials for the summon of an extra deck monster. While you control tentacle tokens, this card cannot be destroyed by battle and is unaffected by opponent's card effects. Once per turn, you can destroy a card your opponent controls for each tentacle token you control. Destroy all tentacle tokens when this card leaves the field. So, summons a whole bunch of tokens that allow you to basically pop your opponent's field. And these tokens are unaffected by card effects, and then this card is unaffected by card effects while the tokens are out. No, I think the tokens are vulnerable, right? Tokens are unaffected by the effects of monsters with a level lower than it. Oh, okay. They're not affected by card effects. They're just unaffected by things. So it summons a whole bunch of tokens. These tokens are as big as Dark Magician. Each token is unaffected by cards with a level of 7 or lower. So they are vulnerable to spells and traps. So a single Raigeki blows up all the tokens, and then you can destroy this card afterwards. It's like a really good Mecha Phantom Beast card. And for all the tokens that exist, you can destroy a number of cards your opponent controls equal to the number of tokens. This is pretty good. I like it. This is kind of busted. Yeah, it's a great god card. It's worth the 3 tributes. Hentai Phantom Beast, yeah. Does it target? Destroy a card your opponent controls for each. It doesn't target. Its destruction effect doesn't target. Whoa. A better Auroradon? Yeah, basically. Next up, Goddess of Light Judgment. I just realized with this artwork, this is probably, I should cover up the artwork. 1 second. 1 second. Where's my face reveal at? This is probably too spicy for YouTube. I didn't even think of that. Shit, where's my face reveal? Ah, here it is. Oh shit, it's on the wrong layer. I gotta move it all the way up. Okay, this will protect us. Think of the children. Okay. So, let's read the card. Goddess of the Light's Judgment, Divine Beast. Requires 3 tributes to normal summon. This card's normal summon / special summon cannot be negated. When normal summon / special summon, cards and effects cannot be activated. If this card is normal summoned, look at your opponent's hand. Banish up to 3 cards from their hand until the end phase of the next turn. Once per turn, quick effect, shuffle up to 3 cards from your graveyard into your deck. Special summon up to 3 banished monsters to your side of the field. Whoa. Whoa. So it can be special summoned. This card allows you to rip 3 cards from your opponent's hand and then special summon them. And God, it tricks you a little bit better. Yeah. This is definitely worth the 3 tribute summons, all right. Excellent card. Also, great artwork too. I don't know if I can show it on YouTube though. So I have my face up there just to keep it safe, just to keep things good. On to the next one. Okay, I can remove my wonderful selfie picture now. For those of you who didn't know, at IRL, I'm actually a 300-pound spider. Next up, Shimmering Jackal of Anu. This one has, classic raw background. I know it looks like a normal monster, but it's not. I can assure you. It's a Divine Beast effect monster. It's just shading. Cannot be normal summoned or set. This card must be special summoned from your hand by attributing 3 monsters. Hey, at least it special summons itself instead of requires your normal summon. This card's special summon cannot be negated. If this card is special summoned, banish all monsters in both players' graveyards. This card gains 100 attack for each monster banished. Well, that's less than Grand Manju. I didn't even notice that. It does count your opponent's cards too, so that is nice. Quick effect, you can banish 1 monster from either graveyard. Send 1 card in the field to the graveyard. Wait, you can banish 1 monster from either graveyard. Send 1 card in the field to the graveyard. When you have less than 5 monsters in your graveyard, this card is unaffected by all card effects. Neither player can activate effects in response to this card's effects. You can only use each effect of Shimmering Jackal of Anu once per turn. So, it can special summon itself from the hand with 3 tributes. Great. Its attack increases by 100 for each banished card. each banished monster, right? Yeah. I just noticed it has 4,000 baseline attack. Okay, that's pretty good. It has a quick effect to banish a monster from either graveyard, which means your opponent's, in order to send one card on the field to the graveyard without targeting it or destroying it. So, won't this card art get you demonetized? No, it's fine if it's men. It's only women's bodies, which will get you demonetized. Let's see, and send one card in the field to the graveyard. If you have 5 or less monsters in your graveyard, it's unaffected by all card effects. That's just a cheeky way to give this card immunity. It's real easy to keep less than 5 cards in your graveyard. Especially since this card banishes all monsters in the graveyards when it's summoned. That's not sexist at all. That's just how it works. I don't make the rules, I just, tell you how it is. Ah, yes, men have less booba. Exactly. Men are allowed to be shirtless outside. Women might get a citation, depending on where you live and what region you are. When you have less than 5 monsters, let's see, neither player can activate effects in response to this. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, so this card's really good. The fact that it's immune to card effects essentially makes it great, especially with its high attack. Excellent god card. Super good, a little bit too good, but a little bit too good in the way that it doesn't have obviously broken effects. Whoever made this knows how the game works. What if a man has booba? Then it's fine. Gosh. Avatar of Death. Dempshit. Is this a Star Wars card? Kind of looks like Maldraxian Warriors. Any of you guys play World of Warcraft? Oh, probably not. Anyways, it cannot be special summoned except by its own effect. Requires 3 tributes normal summon. Cannot be normal set. This card's summon cannot be negated. When this card is summoned, other cards and effects cannot be activated. When this card leaves the field, special summon it to its owner's side of the field at the beginning of the next battle phase. During the battle phase, this card is unaffected by other card effects. I like this card. It's a Necron. It's from Warhammer 40k. Oh, okay. So, it's basically summoned like other god cards. It's like a Ra's restrictions where it can't be special summoned. And its only effects are to be immune to card effects during the battle phase, which is perfectly fine because who cares about the battle phase? And the next one is that if it leaves the field, it just comes back during the next battle phase. I think that's just a really simple, strong effect where if you bring this card out, your opponent is not getting rid of it unless they send it back to the deck, actually. It's vulnerable to everything. The only way to stop this card is to return it to the deck, because monster effects in the decks can't activate. So if it's returned to the deck, it's not coming back, just because of how the rules of the game work. But if it's returned anywhere else, it's coming back. Like if you return it to the hand, the graveyard, the banish zone, banishing it face down. Yeah, banishing it face down would also work. There's only really specific ways to get rid of this card, and most not standard things aren't getting rid of it. Nightmare Unicorn then? Yeah, you'd have to Nightmare Unicorn this card in order to permanently get rid of it. Banishing it face down. Banishing it face down is rare. What cards banish face down? Isn't that one Tri-Brigade card banish face down? I'm trying to remember the Link monster. Banish one card in the field. No, it just banishes. Yeah, there's no standard cards which banish face down. Eater of Millions? Sure, Eater of Millions is an out. But that's the thing, you need specific outs to this card because you can't just use anything, even though it's technically vulnerable to everything. I think this is an excellent effect. I really love it. And it does have protection, but only during the battle phase. So this thing is a monster in the battle phase. Once this thing's out, your opponent's going to be scared and be like, oh no, I need to get rid of that thing. Where's my Nightmare Unicorn or Castell? No, it's immune to the battle. Yeah, Eater of Millions can't out it. You're right. Holy shit. I didn't even think of that. If it's banished, yeah, it can come back. The only places it doesn't come back from is the deck. Or, being banished face down. So this thing is just like a powerhouse. And since it's a monster card, an effect monster, a main deck monster, and not an extra deck monster, you know, bouncing the card doesn't work either unless it's spinned into the deck. The technical term, well, it's not a technical term, it's a fan-made term. The accepted colloquial fan-made term for cards being returned to the deck is called spinning. So if this card is spinned into the deck, then its effect won't activate. If it's banished face down, then its effect won't activate. Other than that, it's coming back, and I like that. Necron's OP. I like how this card is really good, but like not, you know, it has such simple effects. They're so simple. Those are my favorite. Next up, Vernici, the creator of Dragon. Isn't the battle phase optional? Yeah. Why would you not go in the battle phase though if you have this card coming back? 4,000 attack and defense. This one was sent in as a line of monsters. I only, like an archetype they created. This is supposed to be like the obelisk variant. I'm not going to feature all of them, but I do like one of the features of this card, so I'm going to read it anyway. Please explain? Please explain what? So if opponent doesn't battle, he can't return? It comes back during your battle phase, right? The beginning of the next battle phase. You're right, it's the next battle phase, not your battle phase. So if your opponent doesn't enter the battle phase, they can stop this card from coming back. Well, I mean, if your opponent skips their battle phase, then it'll just come back during your next battle phase. It's just the next battle phase. And if your opponent skips their battle phase, then it's just going to be the next one. I don't think you can really skip this effect. It's not like Ruling's Nightmares with Mischief of the Time Goddess. Okay, so Vernici, creator of gods, requires 3 tributes normal summon, cannot be normal summoned, cannot be normal set. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summon, cards and effects cannot be activated. This card can be treated as 3 tributes for the tribute summon of a divine monster. Once, while face up on the field, a quick effect, you can special summon 1 level 10 or lower monster from your deck, or extra deck, in defense position but banish it during the end phase. Once per turn, quick effect, you can place this banished card or this card in your graveyard on top of your deck. So, it special summons a monster from your deck. There are other ones from this archetype that he sent in, which are also divine beast cards that can be used as 3 tributes for the divine summons. So if you bring this card out, you can tribute it later for another god card. And I like the option where if this card like is banished or in your graveyard, you can just set it on top of your deck so that you can use it again. There's not a lot of cards that do that. Usually they require you to spend some resource, but this one doesn't. It's just if this card is banished or in your graveyard, then you can just kind of place it on the top of your deck whenever you want. It can summon itself, no? Yeah, I guess it can. It doesn't seem like there's any restrictions on it. So it hit it with a Raigeki. I think there's one too many chefs in the kitchen. How many creators are there in Yu-Gi-Oh lore? I have no idea. It's a pantheon of gods. Next up, Loving and Warning. Inanna. Wait, is Nichiri exterior level 10 or 8? I think it's level 10. Just ash it? Yeah, I guess that works. Okay, so Loving and Warning requires 3 tributes normal summon, cannot be normal set. This normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summoned, other cards and effects cannot be activated. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, send it to the graveyard. If this card is summoned, you can pay half your life points. Take control as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, but they cannot attack. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Loving and Warning Inanna once per duel. So, if this card is summoned, your opponent can't respond to it. And on summon, it steals all your opponent's monsters. They can't attack, and you also can't use them for combo plays immediately. But that's pretty strong. And it also, I think it works if it's special summoned too, right? If this card is summoned, yeah. So if you just find a way to cheat this card out, you steal all your opponent's cards. I think it really needs the restriction where it can't be special summoned, because that's, yeah, an auto win. Basically an auto win. It's a non-targeting, just steal all your opponent's cards, and your opponent can't respond to it. So if your opponent has a full board of negates, it doesn't matter because you're just going to steal them all, and now they're your negates. This is very strong for a god card. It basically only has one effect, and there's lots of restrictions on it. But there's not enough restrictions because you can just special summon the card and then steal all your opponents. This card is an extender. This card is a game winner. It's a little bit more than an extender. It's an anime god. Oh, they don't go back. Exactly. They don't go back. Like, you know, you can't win immediately that turn, but you've basically won if you stole your opponent's full board of negates. If this card comes out, you win. Assuming you win second. This is a really good going second card to just win. I would say the only downsides to it is just the fact that it requires those 3 tributes. Or you can special summon it. Your opponent would have to negate getting this card out because you can't negate the card coming out. Beats Goku? No, Goku still destroys this card. Goku is unaffected by card effects, so he's just not stolen, and he can beat over it since he has 1,000 more attack. This is an anime god card, yeah, basically. It's stronger than the anime god cards. If any of the animes had god cards had that effect, they would have much shorter duels because they would win so fast. Next up, Isis, the Heaven Phoenix. Divine Beast effect. This card cannot be used in a duel. Oh, is this Kiara? I'm just going to see that every time I see a Phoenix from now on. Requires 3 tributes to normal summon this card. Cannot be normal set. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summon, cards and effects cannot be activated. Neither player can target this card with card effects. Ooh, it's like Obelisk. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is special summoned, send it to the graveyard. Special summon gains 500 attack. I lost my place. Gains 500 attack and defense for each card in your graveyard. Negate any card effect that would move a card in the graveyard to a different place. Once per turn, you can contribute 1 monster. You can add 1 spell card from deck to your hand. Okay, there it is. So, it's Isis, not Kiara. Whatever. If you say so. It's like a Necro Valley on legs. Yeah, it's basically Necro Valley. It's Necro Valley that comes back. Right? No, this card's special summon sent to the graveyard. Oh, never mind. It's not that at all. So, it's basically a Necro Valley on the field. Sure, whatever. But the ridiculous part of this is that last one over there. Once per turn, you contribute 1 monster. You can add 1 spell card from your deck to your hand. What? This card would see play just for that effect alone. You know how difficult it is to search out any spell card from your deck? Very difficult. Left arm offering difficult. It's a little bit insane. Well, I don't know. I think it's balanced because like requiring 3 tribute summons for a normal summon is still pretty tough. It's probably easier to use left arm offering now that I'm thinking about it. Although its Necro Valley effect is pretty good. Imagine grass was legal. Yeah, this would be a great grass card. Next one. Sarkis, Devils of the Flesh. This one's kind of hard to read. Let me make this bigger for myself on my end. Okay. This card can only be special summoned by attributing 3 monsters you control with different names. Special summoned, huh? So a plasma type summoned. You can pay half your life points, target 1 face-up card your opponent controls. Quick effect, banish that card face down, as well as all copies of that card in your opponent's hand deck and extra deck and graveyard. Your opponent cannot activate cards in response to this card's activation unless they pay half their life points. If this card would leave the field, you can banish 5 monsters from your graveyard face down instead. You can only activate each effect of this card once per turn. Whoa. pay half your life points to just delete one of your opponent's cards from the game. And it's spell speed 4 unless your opponent decides to pay half their life points, which doesn't actually negate the card. It's just, it allows them the privilege of attempting to negate the card. Just negate the summon? Oh yeah, I guess this is the only god card so far which doesn't have the cannot be negated summoned. Would you make an Akiza VTuber model if you could collab with HoloLive E? No. I would just use my face reveal. This is my potential VTuber avatar right here. Okay. I like the audacity of this card. I like that it has spell speed 4 removal, but it allows your opponent the privilege to pay half their life points in order to turn off the spell speed 4 protection. It doesn't stop the effect, it just allows them to respond to his effects. It's like, sure, if you give me an offering, I will allow you to attempt to stop me. It's so audacious. I love it. This is what I like about this card. It's very godly. Next one. Bold of you to use your actual face as a VTuber model. I know, right? This one isn't actually a god card. And it's just god. It's not even a god card support. It's like a god card themed equip spell card. Not equip spell card. Quick play spell card. I just really liked it. So this one is called Ra's Rising Rapier. I think this is custom artwork too. It's a quick play spell card that allows you to target one monster you control. After this card resolves, if you pay life points, increase the target's attacked by the amount paid. Also, while the target is faceable on the field, once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points to destroy one monster your opponent controls. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, special summon a monster previously targeted by Ra's Rising Rapier from your graveyard. So, what's really good about this card is that it grants a monster a lingering effect. A lingering effect which gives them an activatable, just pay 1,000 life points to destroy one of your opponent's cards. And it's not once per turn because that's how Ra's effect works. And also, each time it pays life points, the card gains that amount of attack. So if you pay 1,000 to destroy one of your opponent's cards, it then gains 1,000 attack, and the attack boost is permanent. And since they're lingering effects, it can't be negated in like traditional means. Like you can negate the effect itself, but you can't like negate the card. So say you activate this on like Maneater Bug, for example, and you try to use its effect after it gains the effect to destroy one of your opponent's cards, and your opponent uses like Effect Veiler, it's not going to stop the effect because it's a lingering effect. If they use Infinite Impermanence, it won't stop the effect because it's a lingering effect. But if they use Appaloosa to negate the effect, that does work, because that's actually negating the effect itself, whereas the other ones are negating the card, and since it's a lingering effect, you can't negate those kinds of effects. It turns everything into a Blue Eyes alternative? No. Blue Eyes alternative's effects can be negated with Effect Veiler. It's like, the Blackluster Soldier stuff. They gain lingering effects, which are better. You have to negate activation of effects. You can't just negate the monster. Exactly. It's good as hell. I like it. I know, right? Like at first glance, it doesn't seem that good until you realize that this card is granting a lingering effect. And then it's like, whoa. Whoa, that's ridiculous. That's like a god card in the version of, you know, a really easy to use spell card. It would be absolutely a staple card that is used because it's so good. Okay, so next up, Wasted Time God. This is a custom artwork, I think, or is it just a recoloring? I don't know. It looks weird. It looks weird in a, you know, in an intentional way. So, Divine Beast effect. Oh, hello there, Jared Smethers. Welcome, welcome. Must be special summoned from your hand by revealing this card and waiting one turn. It's like a golden ladybug. Reveal the card. This card cannot be negated. This card's summon cannot be negated. Cards and effects can't be activated when this card is summoned. If another card with no time counters activates its effect on the field, place a time counter on it. For cards with time counters, waiting 1 turn is needed in order to activate and resolve their effects. Cards and effects can't be activated in response to this effect. This card gains 400 attack and defense times the current turn counter. So, if another card with no time counters activates its effect on the field, place a time counter on it, which then makes it so they can't use their effects for another turn. I'm not sure if this is meant to, like, delay the effect for 1 turn immediately or after they use the effect, because I think it currently negates it or resolve it. I think as it is currently. If your opponent activates an effect, it will gain a time counter afterwards. Activate its effect on the field, yeah. So that it has to wait a turn afterwards in order to start doing things. It's supposed to be an immediate delay? Okay. I don't think it's worded correctly for an immediate delay, but if that's the intention, that's what I'll go with. So if it's an immediate delay, that's great. If it's not, then it's neat, but I don't think it's fast enough to be competitive. If it is an immediate delay, that's awesome. It means it just slows down everything. Your opponent has to wait a turn to resolve anything, which basically shuts down all of your opponent's card effects, but not permanently. How would it work with spells and traps then? I would assume it just goes off after a turn. Put a time counter on it. Actually, you're right. This is kind of a ruling's nightmare. Like if they activate Raigeki, and then Raigeki immediately goes to the graveyard, it technically doesn't have a time counter on it, so the effect should resolve like normal. Yeah, I guess it's only face-up cards because, you know, Raigeki would just go to the graveyard. Or maybe it would keep Raigeki on the field because it doesn't go to the graveyard until afterwards. This card is a ruling's nightmare? Yeah, it is. Yeah, this one is confusing. Hand traps? Oh, hand traps. How would that work? You can't have counters on a card in the hand. Or about cards that activate in the graveyard. It's a Necron from Warhammer. An opponent summon, place the counter, remove it during their next standby phase. Seems more simple. Yeah, kind of like that one card, the alien stuff. That's a spooky wizard. It is a spooky wizard. Interesting card. Yeah, it is interesting. I like it when they attempt interesting, not interesting. Well, yeah, interesting, but like unique effects that I've never seen before. Especially ones which cause a whole bunch of ruling nightmares. Wait, you can't time travel? SMH? Wait, it's all diamond, dude? Oh, God. This card, I gotta make it bigger. I can barely read that. Okay. This card must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by banishing face down 3 random cards from your extra deck. Wow, that's easy to summon. This card's summon cannot be negated. Gains 800 attack and defense for each card on the field. While this card is faceable on the field, your opponent cannot send monsters from the field to the graveyard. Your opponent cannot tribute monsters, and your opponent cannot use monsters on the field as materials for a Link, XC, Synchro, or Fusion summon. Like, your opponent just can't do anything while this card's out. While this card is faceable on the field, monsters in the field cannot be destroyed or returned to the hand by card effects. And monsters other than Magmar, Primordial, God of Raging Soul, cannot be destroyed by battle. During your opponent's end phase, if they control monsters in any battle position that did not attack this turn, banish 20 cards from the bottom of their deck face down. If this card is targeted with a card effect, neither player can activate spell and traps for the rest of the turn. So, this card comes out real easily, easier than a Eater of Millions, and then it just stops everything from happening, and then banishes your opponent's deck if they don't attack into its 3,500 defense. But it can be destroyed by battle. So if your opponent exists, no. Yeah, this is broke. It's a little bit too broke. It's too easy to summon, and its shutdown is too good. And its effect on top of all that is to just like mill your opponent's deck. A built-in United We Stand and a built-in United We Stand. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it's definitely a god card, all right. It's too easy to summon though to be a god card. It needs to have those 3 tribute summons, and even then it would still be too powerful. Next card, Yogg-Sothoth, Oath, the Continuum. Divine Beast, Divine card. Cannot be normal summon or set. Can only be special summoned by banishing all monsters in your deck and graveyard. When special summon, cards and effects cannot be activated. You cannot leave the field except by its own effect. Ooh, once per turn, if this card is in attack position, you can banish up to 1 card each from your opponent's hand, field, graveyard, extra deck, and the top of their deck. And if you do, inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each banished card by this effect. The card in the hand is chosen at random. During each of your end phases, place 1 Doom counter on this card. If there's ever 3 Doom counters on this card, banish this card and take 8,000 damage. Ah, hello there, Alberto Palafox Guerrero. Welcome to the Doom Room. It banishes face up. So what I like about this card, you know, it does have a super powerful Trishula effect, but it doesn't have any attack, and it doesn't have a way to grant itself attack. That backfire effect is my favorite part of the card. It's basically a win condition. Barrel Behind the Door, Counter Trap. Activate only when a card effect that would inflict damage to you is activated. Your opponent takes the damage instead. This is 8,000 effect damage. It doesn't matter where the source comes from. If you take damage, then your opponent takes it instead. Uno reverse card. It's a win condition. Yep. It's a win condition that if your opponent, you know, has like a Ren Reboot in their hand, then they win. If they don't, then you win. But either way, you have to wait 3 turns before it happens. So you don't know. Does your opponent have a way to reflect the damage, or do they? You just have to save all your negates for when its effect goes off. It's a ticking time bomb. Magic Cylinder Pong. This card is something. I know. I like this card. It requires you to think a little bit, because like on surface level, it seems like it has an incredibly terrible downside. And, you know, it's supposed to be balanced around that because it has a pretty good effect, but like that downside is its win condition. Still my 5th favorite Yu-Gi tuber. Why, thank you, Michael. Don't you mean 5th favorite custom card reviewer? Because if we go to Yu-Gi tubers, there's some pretty big ones. Isn't Jake Paul technically a Yu-Gi tuber if he released a Yu-Gi-Oh video? Isn't Mostly Critical technically the biggest Yu-Gi tuber? It can't OTK on its own. Nope. But it can inflict 8,000 points of damage to your opponent with a Barrel Behind the Door. Hell no. No. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Next card. Atlan, the Sunken or Calcite Dragon. Cannot be normal summoned except by flip summon. Requires 3 tributes to normal set this card. This face-up monster cannot be tributed or uses material for any summon. If this face-up monster card would be affected by a spell card, its original owner can decide that it is not affected. If this card leaves the field, its original owner loses the duel. Okay, so. If this face-up would be affected by a card effect, its original owner can decide. Okay, I did read that wrong. I was about to say, isn't this card supposed to be immune to everything? If this face-up card would be affected by a card effect, its original owner can decide that it is not affected. All right. Utopia the Lightning can beat over it? True. However, Little Karibo is more a Yu-Gi tuber? True. Little Karibo is, he's not bigger than Mostly Critical, though. It's useless 5,000 attack beat stick. You know what else is a useless 3,500 attack beat stick? That sees competitive play. Here, let me show you. I don't know if you've ever heard of this card before. You guys will probably have your minds blown when I show you this. So there's this XYZ monster called Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon. It requires 3 level 10 wing beast type monsters and is unaffected by other card effects. You can detach material to do a whole bunch of other shit that doesn't matter because this card is always cheated out of the extra deck for that one little effect right. Oops, where the fuck? Right here, unaffected by others cards effects. And the fact that it's 3,500 attack, this is the only reason it's used. It has all these other things that no one even knows that they exist. I don't even know they do, and I talk about this card all the time. And it's 3,500 attack. And it's just a beat stick, essentially, that's immune to everything, and it's so good. You guys underestimate the power of a card that's immune to everything. But this one isn't even immune to everything, it's just immune to cards you choose for it to be immune to. Which means you can give it support. You can give it something like, whatchamacallit? What's that one trap card? Security? There's a trap card that allows you to target a card you control and make it immune to destruction effects, including battle. Bo Luna, the ultimate anime villain boss for Yugi to somehow out for an insta-win? Exactly. Bo. Also, thanks for the 5 CA. Safe Zone, that's what it is. Safe Zone. Activate this card by targeting one face-up attack as a monster on the field. That face-up monster cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. Your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Also, it cannot attack your opponent directly. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. You can just choose to not be destroyed if Safe Zone leaves the field. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. If you just give this card like a Safe Zone-like card, there's other cards like Safe Zone. Safe Zone's just the only like generic one. It's basically unaffected by the downside of Safe Zone because you can choose what it's affected by. And it's 5,000 attack. So if you bring out this card, it's basically like a tower, a protect the tower situation where you want cards to protect this card because it's your win condition and your opponent's not getting rid of it. And since you can choose to have it affected by stuff, this is a huge, like, upside over Ultimate Falcon, who's just immune to everything, including your cards. This one's not immune to your cards. But it is immune to your cards if you want it to be. If you don't want it to be destroyed by Safe Zone, you can just say it's not destroyed. It just gains all of the benefits without any of the downsides. Again, it can't be tributed. Exactly. No, it can't be tributed. It can't be super polyed. So the only out is to have bigger numbers, and to get rid of all your support. Like, you have to destroy the support around this card and then have bigger numbers than it. Can Goku kill it? Shit, I don't think Goku can beat it either. I think this card stops Goku. Goku can just win by just going around it, though. Goku also just inflicts 5,000 damage each turn. Goku can't beat it directly, but he can still win against it. But you can affect it when it's still face down. Okay, that's, whatchamacallit. The person who sent this in, he sent in a little note. He's like, the whole purpose of this card is that, you know, it's balanced around the fact that you kind of have to wait a turn before you flip it up, so you have to protect it. Or play a terrible card like Book of Taiyu. So, Book of Taiyu is right here. To flip one face-down monster on the field into face-up attack position. So you'd need to play something like this or A and D Changer to get this card face-up. This is overpowered. It's interesting. At first, people thought it was, you know, too weak, bad. And then once I explained how powerful this thing is with proper support, yeah, it is kind of overpowered. Towers outs this with its effect. Towers can out this, yeah. There are ways around it. You need like very specific cards, which like don't target cards and instead make the player perform an action. And there's very few cards that do that. Towers is one of them. But Towers himself is also hard to bring out. You can use the Subterror Trap or the Crawler one. Yeah, yeah, those work too. So you can have it set with 0 defense and it's my turn. I attack and destroy it because it's not a flip effect. Exactly. It's not immune to destruction effects. Like, the person who made this knew the card would be overpowered the way it was, and that's why they gave it a downside. The fact that if you lose, I don't really like this effect right here. Red arrow. Like, if this card leaves the field, its owner loses the duel. I don't really like that effect, but it kind of makes sense. Like, you'll probably lose anyway if it leaves the field because you're spending your resources to protect it. But, you know, you just lose a little bit faster. So it's kind of not even that big of a downside. You need to be able to boost your monster over 5,000 attack, but manages to flip face up. Yeah. We're like, lose 5,000 life points. What does the owner decides it mean? It's kind of like a reference to the anime. A lot of the god cards in the anime could just choose to be affected by cards. It was pretty arbitrary. And so this one, you can just choose to be affected by safe zone. Like you use safe zone on this card, it gains the benefits of safe zone, but then say your opponent MSTs safe zone to destroy it. Safe zone has the downside where if it's destroyed, it also destroys the monster it's equipped to. But this card, you just choose to not be affected by that. Okay, the enemy was super arbitrary. Yeah, exactly. All right. So this Dragon Ruler support card, this is like a towers card. It just is immune to everything. Next up, we have Yogg-Saron, the Lucid Dream. This one was so the person who sent this in put in an extra effort. Here, let me make this bigger. They put in extra effort to like work on this image to make it look like Yogg-Saron himself is like holding up a card to his head. And they even have the text itself warped around the tentacle. So let's read the effect. Requires 3 tributes normal summon, cannot be normal set. This card summon and effect activations cannot be negated or responded to. Like normal god cards. If this card is tribute summoned, your opponent excavate cards from the top of their deck, and if they do, activate the effect of any normal or quick play spell cards when it's excavated, until 5 cards have been activated by this way. Then shuffle the excavated cards into the deck. Ignore any mention of archetypes for the purposes of this effect's activation. Okay, so looks like a promotional poster. Yeah, it does. So the effect itself is a little bonkers. Oops. Why are these things not? Okay, we'll leave it there. The effect itself is you can excavate cards from the top of your deck until you get 5 spell cards. And then it activates the effects of those spell cards. The only confusing part of that is the archetype thing. Here, let me show you a card that exists in the game that does something similar. Let me just find it real quick. Ah, here it is. You guys might know this card. Someone even mentioned and streamed a little bit earlier. That's not it. So, Destiny Hero Diamond Dude. Destiny Hero Diamond Dude allows you to excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a normal spell card, send it to the graveyard. During your next standby phase, during the main phase of your next turn, you can activate the effect of that spell card in your graveyard. So, Yogg-Saron allows you to activate the effects of spell cards that it excavates. The fact that it ignores archetypes is just confusing, so I'm just going to ignore that part. But if we just go based on how Diamond Dude works. What is it? Megaton? Ton? Is it cannon? I'm looking for a specific card. Ah, here it is. Megaton Magical Cannon. So this is a spell card, which requires you to remove 10 spell counters on your side of the field in order to activate it, which its effect is to destroy all of your opponent's cards. You can just ignore its cost with Diamond Dude because it activates the effect of a card. That's basically what Yogg-Saron's doing. It's ignoring the cost and only activating the effects. So, a more usable example, Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires, banish 10 cards in order to draw 2. So you just ignore the banishing part and you just draw 2 if it's excavated with Yogg. It excavates from your opponent's deck, so many of them will only work for their archetypes. Oh, glossy candle. Is that what it says? Did I read that wrong? Your opponent excavates cards on the top of their deck, and if they do... Okay, that is not as useful as your own. Ignore any mentions of archetypes for the purposes of the effects activated. That causes too many rulings nightmares. If it's your opponent's cards, I don't know if that really works. Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't really a game where that would work. It works with your cards, but not your opponent's. Because, like, if your opponent has a card, like, search out, you know, an Archfiend card from your deck, you can't just ignore the mention of an archetype because then you don't have a target. Because, you know, an Archfiend card, you know, if you ignore the archetype, that means you can just search out any card? A card? Yeah, like, you know, if it's a card, then sure, I guess it works, but that's ridiculously overpowered. Maybe that's intended? I don't know. It seems like that's too confusing. It would just mean ignore those effects. I guess it would just ignore these effects. I submitted Avatar of Death. Nebshet, I wanted to emulate something very hard to get rid of, but not completely impossible. Was Nebshet the one where he allows you to negate his effects if you pay half your life points? Let me see. Glassy Candle. Were you the one who made this? Any more things? This card would never work in Yu-Gi-Oh! Mechanics. Yeah, it's too, Nebshet was the Necron Lord. Oh, the one that always comes back? Yeah, that one was good too. The Battle Phase one. I like that one. I love how this card's made. Makes me think of the new Diamond cards for Hearthstones. New Diamond cards. Oh yeah, those ones are ridiculous in their artwork and stuff. It's also Yogg. It may as well be broken. That's true. I think the card could be usable if it worked more like Diamond Dude. But if it works in the intended way from the creator, where it allows you to ignore archetype-specific stuff, then that's ridiculously overpowered and causes all kinds of ruling nightmares. Just because, like, the archetype-specific, you know, restrictions exist for a very specific reason. Because, you know, cards and effects have specific targets and stuff. Next list, we make ruling nightmare cards. I like that idea. However, if we assume it works like Diamond Dude, that's great. It's an excellent card. I love it. Just remove the archetype thing, in my opinion, just because it's very confusing. In my opinion. Next up. Eberron, the Dragon Between Worlds. Stop rolling, chat. 1 second. Okay. So, the dragon between what? The dragon between... Oh, I guess it doesn't say worlds. Why did I say worlds? Aurelion Soul? What? I'm not very up to date on Eberron lore. As if you had to shuffle you and your opponent's deck together and then split them for each other. Oh, that would be an awesome deck. You and your opponent shuffle your decks together and then split them in half. That would be a nightmare. That would cause so many ruling nightmares. Because there's a lot of cards that search out specific cards from your deck, and you're not allowed to use a card if you can't resolve it. And you wouldn't know if you'd be able to resolve it because you don't know if you have those targets in your deck anymore. Eberron, the Dragon Between Divine? Okay, let's read the effects. So, it's a level 12 card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it's 12. Okay. Level 12 card. It's a fusion pendulum. Wow, there's very few fusion pendulum cards in the game, aren't there? Pendulum effect. You can tribute summon this card from the pendulum zone by tributing 3 monsters you control, or by tributing one of the other cards from this card's archetype. You control, and 1 monster your opponent controls. You may place field spell cards on your opponent's side of the field. Monsters you control gain 650 attack for each field spell in play. Whoa. You can just give your opponent a field spell card. That's kind of like set rotation. Neat. Next up. You must fusion summon this card by tributing the above materials on your side of the field, which is 3 effect monsters. You do not use polymerization. Nice, nice. This card summon cannot be negated. Once per turn, you may declare a phase. Draw phase, standby phase, main phase, battle phase, main phase 2, or end phase. During your opponent's next turn, their monster effects are negated during that phase. You may only declare one of each phase once per duel. If this card would be destroyed or banished, you may place it in your pendulum zone instead. So you can just negate your opponent's card effects during their main phase 1. That's pretty good. And then it goes to your pendulum zone afterwards, where it can then summon itself. You put this in your extra deck, right? Yeah, it starts off in your extra deck, it goes to your pendulum zone, and then if it's destroyed, it goes back to your extra deck face up. Rating 6.5 out of 10 because I hate using separate calculators for the 650 stuff. They need more 50 stuff. Yes, it's a fusion monster. Negating monster effects during a single phase is weak. Hey, if you negate their main phase, then that basically ends their turn. That means they have to go to their main phase 2 in order to do their combos, and that's like making your opponent lose a turn. That's pretty good. You know, after you use the effect to stop your opponent's main phase, though, the other ones aren't as useful. Like, stopping your opponent's draw phase, I guess, is the second most useful. And then stopping the battle phase is another good one. But the other ones are pretty superfluous. Superfluous. Superfluous? That word. Head judging. It's a unique effect. If you have 2 copies, you can declare main phase 1 and 2. True. You only need to declare main phase 1, though, in order to stop your opponent's turn, essentially. Superfluous? 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 I've seen this other times. Why do people use may instead of can? I have no idea. I don't even notice it. Superfluous? Next up, Vinshu, the Divine Preserver. I think this is custom art. 2 tuners plus 1 or more non-tuners. Must be synchro summoned with the above synchro materials and cannot be special summoned except by its own effect. You can return 1 face-up other card from this archetype to your extra deck. Special summon this card from your extra deck. This is a quick effect if you control no spells and traps. The summon of this card cannot be negated. Your opponent cannot destroy cards you control except this card. If this card was destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect, you can banish 1 monster and 1 spell or trap from your hand or field instead. When this card is removed from the field, gain 1200 life points. You can only summon the divine monsters once per turn. You can only control 1 phase of the divine monster. Yeah, I guess for this one, I'd really have to have shown all the other ones as well. Which is why I included them. So like the art is great. It basically allows you to tag in with this card. If this card's on the field, you can return it to your extra deck in order to bring this card out. This card right here allows you to return Shiva from your extra deck in order to cheat it out. And Shiva allows you to return Vinshu to your extra deck in order to cheat itself out. So the 3 cards can they can tag out with each other. But they can only be summoned once per turn. Hard once per turn. So you can't constantly swap out with them. But you can swap out during the battle phase for 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. You can just destroy your opponent by just constantly swapping into them. That's why their effects are kind of minor, because once you get one of them out, then you can constantly dodge effects by just swapping into the other ones. And they also have effects when they leave the field. This one gains 1,200 life points. This one allows you to draw a card when it swaps out, and then this one allows you to banish the top card of your opponent's deck face down, which isn't as good as the other two. This one's probably the best tag out effect. I like the theme a lot, even if they aren't very strong together. Even if they are very strong together, yeah, they're pretty strong together. Must be fusion some of the above materials. Can't be special summon in other ways, except by its own effect. You can return one of these other cards to your deck in order to special summon this card from your extra deck. Quick effect: if you control no spell or traps, the summon of this card can't be negated. When this card is summoned, you can reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, special summon a level 8 or lower monster revealed from it, or just from your hand that was already there. But it cannot attack this turn. And then shuffle the remaining cards into your deck. When this card's removed from the field, draw 1 card. So, it allows you to special summon a level 8 or lower monster from your hand, or from the top 5 cards of your deck. Shiva, the Divine Destroyer. 3 level 10 monsters. This is probably the easiest one to bring out, right? 3 monsters, different types and levels / ranks. Cannot be special summoned except by its own effect. Yeah, the Xyz monster is probably the easiest. Because 2 tuners is kind of difficult to pull off. Okay, next one. Glads on roids? Yeah, they're like Gladiator Beast, but better. Must be Xyz summoned with the above Xyz materials. Cannot be special summoned except by its own effect. You can return 1 face-up Vishnu, the Divine Preserver you control to the extra deck. Special summon this card from your extra deck. Quick effect: if you have no spell or traps, the summon of this card cannot be negated. When this card is summoned, destroy all other cards on the field. But battle damage this turn this card inflicts is halved. Oh. So it's only this card's battle damage is halved that turn. Wow, that's super powerful. Especially since they can all tag out with each other. When this card's removed from the field, your opponent must banish the top card of the deck face down. You can only summon this card once per turn. You can only control 1 face up the Divine Monster. 2 level 10 easy, but a 3 can be kind of hard. Yeah, I guess they're all pretty difficult, because this one needs to be fusion summoned properly, which means a fusion spell card. This one requires 2 tuners, which is kind of difficult. If it was like 1 tuner plus 2 or more non-tuners, that's a little bit easier. But 2 tuners is a lot more difficult than just getting to 1 tuner. And this one, yeah, it can be routed with trains. So it allows trains to go into the loop of going into all these cards. Super Poly can make it a bit easier. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, this is an excellent Super Poly target. 3 monsters, different types and levels / ranks. Yeah, this is an... Yeah, Super Poly allows you to bring this card out real easy. Which means... you can just use Anaconda to go into this. So this one's probably the easiest. It's because I play a lot of synchro decks. Yeah. Huh. Super Poly. Okay, never mind. Looks like Brahma is the easiest one to bring out. And then it will start the chain of tagging out into the other ones. Because since it's a quick effect, you can use it to dodge effects. So if they would be removed, you can just dodge it instead. But then also that it could just be negated. They don't have really any protection from being negated. A single negate stops everything. Okay. And that's it. That's all the cards. Okay. So. Let me close out of this. I need to get a drink of water real quick. Oh man, my throat hurts. Okay, so I was thinking for the next custom card review, should I convert this into a bi-weekly series, once every 2 weeks instead of once every week? I don't know. I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking about once every 2 weeks. I'm not sure about that though. Whatever the case, I'll have out a poll. I'll have out a poll eventually. It'll be on my Twitter and stuff. If you want to send in cards, just wait for that. There'll be another theme. Another theme. 1 per week. I like doing cards. Sure, 1 per week is fine and everything. I don't know, 1 per week seems fine. It's not that bad. I think once every 2 weeks is more manageable because this, like, it takes a lot to set up. You know, reading through all the cards takes a long time. And then the actual stream itself destroys my throat. Like, once the stream's done, I can't really record for the rest of the day. Well, I mean, I can record at night. So I guess it's not that big a deal. Longer streams? No, if I did every 2 weeks, it'd still be the same amount. No, 1 a week is fine. It's just that this series, it takes a lot of my time. And I basically do it for fun. Because, you know, streaming isn't something that, it's not, what's the word for it? It's not monetizable. It's not, like, I only allow myself to work for 40 hours a week. And of that 40 hours I work, you know, I include the custom card stream into it. And then the custom card stream itself, you know, takes out 4 hours of the 40 hours. And that 4 hours is infinitely better spent just working on a real video. So, like, say I spend 4 to 6 hours doing this, you know, with the setup and everything. That's like the amount of time it takes to set up a video. So, like, the amount of time that goes into this could be used on literally anything else. And the average video is just like 10 to 20 times more profitable. That's the thing. But also, you know, profits aren't everything. If they were, like, if all I cared about was that, then I don't think I'd be doing YouTube. I like to stream because I can yell at you. Yes, why thank you, Michael. If you're going to yell at me, make sure you do it through super chats. Those are the best way to yell at me. Sounds like a bi-weekly would be better for... Yeah, that's why I'm thinking, like, bi-weekly is more of like a time constraint thing. You're my favorite non-VTuber? Whoa, Snatch Master. Haven't you seen my VTuber avatar, though? Here, let me turn on the voice, too. It's not the same without the voice.
Hello, this is me, TheDuelLogs. I'm actually a 300-pound spider who controls these things with my spider legs. Okay, I'm very shy, so I'm going to turn off my face cam now.
Loud noises. Yeah, so basically, since the stream itself takes so much time. Oh, wow, thanks for the 666. Also, thanks for the 20 Snatch Master. Very appreciated. This is making me reconsider the profitability of the stream a little bit. But because, like, the average top 10 video... Well, not even top 10s. I don't only do top 10s. I do other stuff, too. I'm thinking about working on a new series. Hey, it's Kumiko. No, it's my face reveal. That's the only reason I'm thinking about going bi-weekly, just because it takes a lot of time to do this. It doesn't seem like it does, because the streams are only like an hour long, but it does. There's a lot that goes into these kinds of streams. Not that much. There's definitely streams where people put way more effort into it. But these definitely require more effort than just playing a video game. If we keep donating, we'll have to do it weekly. I mean, yeah, basically, that's a big thing, but I don't want you guys to feel like you have to donate. That's the thing. Like, I'm going to do it no matter what. I don't really care. Like, everything I do doesn't need to be profitable. If all I cared about was profits, like, I wouldn't be doing YouTube. I'd probably be, like, an investment banker or something. Like, I do all this stuff because it's fun. Including this. But also, I do need, you know, to think about, like, I can only work for so many hours per week. And that time needs to be spent doing something else. I mean, it doesn't need to be. It's like, I just have to keep these things in mind. Cost-benefit analysis of my time. Because time is my most valuable resource. Wow, thanks for the two, Travis Mark. How about some sea cucumber custom cards? Sea creature custom cards? I completely read that wrong. SpongeBob custom cards. I should write that down. That's what you said, right? SpongeBob custom cards? Thanks for the 20, Author. Great stream, though. Love these custom card reviews. Why, thank you, Author. Obviously, some people like it. It's not the most popular thing in the world either, but it doesn't do very bad either. Like, the numbers for the stream are pretty respectable as far as a stream goes. You know, I just don't, whatchamacallit, I'm not a streamer, I'm a YouTuber. The stream is just something I do for fun, but I have to be very aware of like the amount of time that goes into it. Okay, so if your card wasn't reviewed, could it be resubmitted for another applicable topic? Yeah, of course. If I didn't review your card, you can always resubmit it for another theme, and it's fine to just like change the effect to fit the theme too. Hire somebody so you can get free time. I can guarantee you will love them as much as you want. Promise will be nice. The thing is, I do hire people. Oops, wrong one. That was my stream stats. Whatchamacallit. This is also the wrong one. VTuber Spider. Yeah, you didn't review my card. It's because your cards are a mess, Val. They don't make any sense. How about single SpongeBob? Fave animes, Lee. Where's my... Oh, I guess I changed it. It used to be on this screen. This is just my favorite animes. It doesn't make any sense. Custom card review. SpongeBob should have a flipping effect somewhere since he's a cook. Oh, that's smart. Anyways, I did have something that showed like the hours I... Oh, here it is. It's on this screen. Like, I do hire people. This is the breakdown of how my time is spent working. Okay. Anyways. What I was just trying to say is it's probably in my best interest to make it bi-weekly, but we'll keep it weekly for now. It's fine. It's fine as a weekly thing. I was just kind of telling you guys the reason if it goes bi-weekly, it's because of that. Meant to spend 30 the first time. Oh, why, thank you, Author. Much appreciated. You guys are really making it harder to justify doing this bi-weekly. But also, you know, this thing is, like, I used to have a Patreon reward for, like, the $50 tier. Where if you paid the $50, you could pick any video topic you wanted, and one of the video topics was, you know, reviewing your custom cards on a custom card video. But I removed that because I don't want people to feel like they have to pay to get their cards reviewed. Or, you know, do anything with this. You know, there's no pay-to-win aspect to getting your cards reviewed. I just removed it as an option. The reason it existed before was because it wasn't a stream yet at that point. But you have a Patreon? I do a Patreon. I never plug it, though. Because it's basically just there for, like, people who really want the benefits or who really want to support. Like, if I didn't have a Patreon, I would have a couple of people, you know, like every week or month ask me if I had one or not, because they want to support. So it's there for the people who want it, but I don't advertise it because, you know, I don't need to. Pay the win? I'm winning by being a viewer. Exactly. Plug it now? No. You guys don't need to, you don't even need to worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. That's just there for the people who really want to just, who want the rewards. However, the next one, low-level boss monsters. I do like low-level boss monsters. Okay. Don't worry if a week you can't stream it. Yeah, like I did stream it last week. Because, like, my internet was down. I literally couldn't. Do a face reveal, not the spider thing. If it was a giant spider that somehow intelligent enough to use the PC and everything, you wouldn't be a YouTuber for very long. You'd be in a zoo or studied. Well, I mean, don't tell the government. Oops. Accidentally turned on my face cam again. Ignore that. Also, don't tell people that I'm actually a 300-pound psychic spider who can control a computer and runs 3 YouTube channels. Otherwise, they might want to study my brain for science. Give us the Patreon DuelLogs? Nah, you guys don't need it. Okay, so with that, the custom card, the next one, I'm gonna put in a community post sometime in the next week when I feel like it. And then I'll post it on Twitter. So the best way to be contacted is just to watch Twitter, I guess. Also, the community poll should pop up if you, I think the only way to get notifications for the community poll is to have the bell icon turned on. If you don't have the bell turned on, then you just kind of have to stumble upon it randomly. Because YouTube doesn't really show it unless they decide to show it to you randomly on your mobile phone. Like, if you watch YouTube exclusively on mobile, you'll see it. But if you don't, then you only know about it once it's posted to Twitter. Yeah, you know, like the bell icon, you know how all those YouTubers tell you, you know, hey, like, favorite, subscribe, turn on the bell? Like, you don't need to turn on the bell. Like, if you just watch their videos normally, you don't need the bell. The bell is useless for a vast majority of YouTube channels. The things it's useful for, though, are if the YouTuber streams on YouTube, because the bell will notify you of the stream. And live streams are better if you watch them, you know, as they're live. And that's what the bell exists for, is to notify you of live streams or for community posts, because those are, like, they'll send you an email if you have the bell turned on for those. Like, if there's a YouTuber who regularly live streams on YouTube or regularly does community-driven events through their community post, those are the ones where you want the bell turned on for. But if they just make YouTube videos and that's it, you don't need the bell. Like, YouTube will just give you the videos like normal. But the bell doesn't work for community posts? It does work for community posts, though. I have the bell turned on for some people, and it notifies me of their community post every time. But it sends me an email. That's what I mean by, like, the notifications. If you have the bell turned on, it will send you an email when they post a community post. You sure? Yeah, I get them all the time. Because I only have the bell turned on for a handful of people. Any advice to actually get our card into the streams? Sure. First off, the very basic thing is just to follow the rules I have set out. If you have those rules set out, then make sure the card follows the theme very well and has a unique effect. I highly prioritize unique effects. And also, you know, if you put whatchamacallit, cards like this, I'm probably going to have my eye drawn to them a little bit quicker than other ones. I'm not saying it's necessary, but, like, you know, these ones definitely draw the eye for some unknown reason. Sometimes they'll give you random vids and recommendations. Yes, exactly. Shout out to the guys who sent in cards. Yeah, there's so many cards were sent in, especially since there was 2 weeks to send in ones for this one. What's the next theme? Next theme will be on a community post. I haven't really decided it yet. I'll probably look into it over the next couple of days. Hey, that's mine. This one's yours? I can't show it on screen for too long, otherwise I'll get caught by the demonetization fairies. Haha, boots. Yes, boots, exactly. Okay, I gotta go now. I got other stuff to do today. I'll see you all next week, or on Friday when I do my super casual Duel Link stream. Goodbye.